Tilly was a little girl with bright green eyes and curls the color of honey. She lived in a cozy brick house at the end of Maple Street with her parents, her baby brother Sam, and a cat named Whiskers. Tilly was 7 years old, and although small for her age, she had a heart that always seemed just a little too big for her chest. It was a crisp autumn morning when the story of her tiny good deed began. The air was filled with the scent of fallen leaves and the distant hum of a school bus engine. Tilly pulled on her red scarf, struggling with the knot, until her mom helped her tie it snugly. "Ready for another big day, my helper?" her mom asked with a smile. Tilly nodded. She loved helping, sometimes with setting the table, other times by keeping Sam entertained while her mom cooked dinner. But that morning, she didn't know she was about to do something much bigger than folding napkins or singing baby songs. At school, the classroom was decorated with colorful drawings of pumpkins and paper turkeys. Ms. Green, their kind teacher with silver glasses, was writing on the board when she said, "Class, today we're going to talk about kindness. Who can tell me what that means?" Tilly's hand shot up immediately. "It means, doing something nice, even if no one asks you to." Ms. Green smiled. "That's a wonderful answer, Tilly." The class spent the morning reading a story about a boy who helped an old man find his dog. When it was over, Ms. Green said, "Kindness doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest deed can make someone's day brighter." Tilly thought about that all through lunch. What could she do that was kind? She didn't have much money to buy gifts, and she wasn't old enough to volunteer like her parents did. Her small hands fidgeted with the crust of her sandwich as she looked around the cafeteria. That's when she noticed Ben sitting alone at the end of a long table. Ben was new to their school, quiet, shy, and always sitting by himself. He had messy brown hair and a blue backpack with a patch shaped like a star. Some kids whispered that he came from another town after his parents got divorced. Tilly didn't know if that was true, but she could see he looked sad. She picked up her lunch tray and walked over. "Can I sit here?" she asked softly. Ben looked up, surprised. Sure." They ate in silence for a moment before Tilly said, "Your backpack is cool. I like the star patch." Ben gave a small smile. "Thanks. My mom sewed it on for me." Tilly grinned. "She must be good at sewing. My mom tried once, but she accidentally sewed her glove to the tablecloth." Ben laughed, a small, quiet laugh, but it was enough to make Tilly's heart feel warm. She didn't say anything more, she just stayed there, eating beside him. Somehow, it felt right. After lunch, Tilly saw Ben again on the playground. Some boys were playing soccer and teasing him because he missed the ball. "Nice kick, superstar," one of them jeered. Ben's face turned red, and he walked away. Tilly hesitated. She wasn't sure what to do. She wasn't brave like the heroes in her storybooks. But Ms. Green's words echoed in her mind, even the smallest deed can make someone's day brighter. So, she walked up to Ben, holding a bright yellow leaf she had picked earlier. "This one's my favorite," she said, handing it to him. "It looks like sunshine." Ben looked at the leaf, then at Tilly. "Thanks." "It's okay," Tilly said, shrugging. "Sometimes people don't know how to be nice. But that doesn't mean you did anything wrong." He tucked the leaf into his pocket. "You're nice." That afternoon, when Tilly got home, she told her mom about Ben. Her mom smiled gently and said, "You did something good, sweetheart. Sometimes a few kind words are worth more than anything else." That night, Tilly lay in bed thinking about Ben. She wondered if he'd sit with her again tomorrow. But more than that, she wondered if she could do another small good deed. The next morning, she left for school early, her backpack bouncing as she walked. On the corner, she saw Mrs. Appleby, the elderly lady who lived alone at the end of the street. She was standing beside her mailbox, frowning. "Good morning, Mrs. Appleby." Tilly called out. "Oh, hello dear," the old woman said. "I seem to have dropped my letters, and my back doesn't like bending much these days." Tilly hurried over and scooped up the envelopes. "Here you go." "Thank you, Tilly," Mrs. Appleby said with a smile. "You're such a kind little helper." Tilly blushed. "It's just letters." But Mrs. Appleby said, "Sometimes small things make a big difference, my dear." At school, Tilly noticed Ben was waiting by the classroom door. "Hi," he said shyly. "Do you want to sit together again?" "Sure," she beamed. By the end of the week, Tilly and Ben were inseparable. They shared crayons, played tag, and even started collecting interesting leaves together. Ben began to laugh more and frown less. One afternoon, Ms. Green called the class together. "Children, next week we'll have our school kindness fair," she announced. "Each of you can bring or make something that shows kindness. It can be a drawing, a story, or even something you did for someone else." Tilly's eyes sparkled. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. Over the weekend, she made a kindness jar. She decorated it with bright stickers and wrote, "Kindness counts," across the front. Then, she filled it with little paper hearts. On each heart, she wrote a small deed: say something nice. Share your snack. Help someone up when they fall. She even left some hearts blank so her classmates could write their own ideas. When the fair day arrived, the classroom buzzed with excitement. Some kids had posters, others had crafts. Tilly stood nervously beside her jar, wondering if anyone would care about her tiny idea. Then Ben came over, carrying something behind his back. "I made this for you," he said, handing her a drawing. It showed two stick figures, one with curly hair and a red scarf, the other with a blue backpack, standing under a tree filled with yellow leaves. At the bottom, he had written, "Thank you for being my friend." Tilly's throat tightened. "It's beautiful," she whispered. They stood together as Ms. Green walked around, admiring everyone's projects. When she reached Tilly's table, she smiled warmly. "This is wonderful, Tilly. Would you like to explain it to the class?" Tilly nodded shyly. This is my kindness jar. You can take a heart and do what it says, or write your own and put it in. I think kindness should keep growing." The room was quiet for a moment before Ms. Green clapped her hands. "That's a beautiful idea." One by one, her classmates came forward. Ella, the girl who loved painting, wrote, "Help clean up after art time." David, who often forgot to share, wrote, "Let someone else go first." Even the boys who had teased Ben earlier took hearts and added their own. By the end of the day, the jar was overflowing. That night, Ms. Green sent a message to all the parents, telling them about Tilly's project and how the class had decided to start a kindness week. Every student would try to do one small good deed each day. When Tilly came home, her mom hugged her tightly. "I heard about your kindness jar. I'm so proud of you." Tilly smiled sleepily. It was just a tiny idea. Her mom kissed her forehead. Tiny things can grow into something wonderful. Over the next week, the school began to change. Kids held doors open for each other. They shared pencils, helped clean up the playground, and even started a food drive for the local shelter. It felt like a gentle wave of warmth was spreading through every hallway. One morning, Ben ran up to Tilly, holding a crumpled note. "Guess what?" he said breathlessly. "My dad saw what we're doing at school, and he said it made him want to do something kind too. He's helping at the library now." "That's amazing," Tilly said, grinning. "I think your kindness jar is magic," Ben added. Tilly giggled. "Maybe it's just contagious." A few days later, Ms. Green gathered the class again. "Children, you've inspired the whole school," she said proudly. "The principal wants to keep the kindness jar in the main hallway so everyone can take part." Tilly's heart nearly burst. She could hardly believe her tiny idea had become something so big. But the best moment came a week later. Tilly was walking home when she saw Mrs. Appleby again, this time with a basket of muffins. "Tilly, dear," she called. "I baked extra today, one's for you. I wrote your name on it." Tilly accepted the warm muffin with a smile. "Thank you." Mrs. Appleby winked. "Consider it a return for that tiny good deed of yours." When she reached home, Tilly sat on the porch, munching her muffin and thinking. All she had done was pick up some letters, share a leaf, and make a jar, but somehow, those little things had rippled outward, like pebbles dropped into a pond. That night, as she snuggled under her blanket, her mom came to tuck her in. "So, Miss Kindness Maker, what's next?" Tilly grinned sleepily. "Tomorrow, I think I'll help Dad wash the car. Maybe I'll make cookies for Ben too." Her mom laughed softly. "You just keep spreading your light, sweetheart." And as Tilly drifted off to sleep, the kindness jar sat in the school hallway, glowing faintly in the moonlight from the window. Inside it, more and more hearts were being added each day, some from children, some from teachers, and even a few from parents who had stopped by. What had begun as one tiny good deed from a little girl with honey-colored curls had become something far greater, a quiet, beautiful reminder that even the smallest kindness can grow, touch hearts, and change the world. And though Tilly never sought attention for it, everyone who knew her understood one simple truth: her tiny good deed had started something big.